About 5 years ago, I lived downtown in a major city in the US. I've always been a night person, so I would often find myself bored after my roommate, who is decidedly not a night person, went to sleep. To pass the time, I used to go for long walks and just spend the time thinking. I spent 4 years like that, walking alone at night, and never once had a reason to feel afraid. I always used to joke with my roommate that even the drug dealers in the city were polite. But all of that changed in just a few minutes of one evening. It was a Wednesday, somewhere between 1 and 2 in the morning, and I was walking near a police-patrolled park quite a ways from my apartment. It was a quiet night, even for a weeknight, and with very little traffic and almost no one on foot. The park, as it was most nights, was completely empty. I turned down a short side street in order to loop back to my apartment when I first noticed him. At the far end of the street, on my side, was the silhouette of a man, dancing. It was a strange dance, similar to a waltz, but he finished each box with an odd forward stride. I guess you could say he was dance walking, and he was headed straight for me. Deciding he was probably drunk, I stepped as close as I could to the road to give him the majority of the sidewalk to pass me by. The closer he got, the more I realized how gracefully he was moving. He was very tall and lanky, and wearing an old suit. He danced closer still, until I could make out his face. His eyes were open, wide and wild, head tilted back slightly, looking off at the sky. His mouth was formed in a painfully wide cartoon of a smile. Between the eyes and the smile, I decided to cross the street before he danced any closer. I took my eyes off him to cross the empty street. As I reached the other side, I glanced back, and then stopped dead in my tracks. He had stopped dancing and was standing with one foot in the street, perfectly parallel to me. He was facing me, but still looking skyward, smile still wide on his lips. I was completely and utterly unnerved by this. I started walking again, but kept my eyes on the man. He didn't move. Once I had put half a block between us, I turned away from him for a moment to watch the sidewalk in front of me. The street and sidewalk ahead of me were still completely empty. Still unnerved, I looked back to where he had been standing to find him gone. For the briefest of moments I felt relieved, until I noticed him. He had crossed the street and now was slightly crouched down. I couldn't tell for sure due to the distance and the shadows, but I was certain he was facing me. I had looked away from him for no more than 10 seconds, so it was clear that he had moved fast. I was so shocked that I stood there for some time, staring at him. And then he started moving toward me again. He looked giant, exaggerated, tiptoed steps, as if he were a cartoon character sneaking up on someone, except he was moving very, very quickly. I'd like to say at this point I ran away or pulled out my pepper spray or my cell phone or anything at all, but I didn't. I just stood there, completely frozen as the smiling man crept toward me, and then he stopped again, about a car length away from me, still smiling his smile, still looking to the sky. When I finally found my voice, I blurted out the first thing that came to mind. What I meant to ask was, "What do you want?" in an angry, commanding tone, but came out as a whisper. "What?" Regardless of whether or not humans can smell fear, they can certainly hear it. I heard it in my own voice, and that only made me more afraid. But he didn't react to it at all. He just stood there, smiling. And then, after what felt like forever, he turned around, very slowly, and started dance-walking away, just like that. Not wanting to turn my back on him again, I just watched him go until he was far enough away to be almost out of sight. And then I realized something. He wasn't moving away anymore, nor was he dancing. I watched in horror as the distant shape of him grew larger and larger. He was coming back my way, and this time he was running. I ran too. I ran until I was off of the side road and back into a better lit road with sparse traffic. Looking behind me then, he was nowhere to be found. The rest of the way home, I kept glancing over my shoulder, always expecting to see his stupid smile, but he was never there. I lived in that city for 6 months after that night, and I never went out for another walk. There was something about his face that always haunted me. He didn't look drunk, he didn't look high. He looked completely and utterly insane, and that's a very, very scary thing to see. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. As you might have noticed, the audio was a bit different from what it has been. That's because I got a new mic today. I used to use the blue snowball mic, but now I'm using a BM700 condenser mic. Very sophisticated. It's not as good as I thought it was, but I don't know, maybe it's just because of the other stuff I have that makes it work that way. I don't know. It might just simply be that good. But overall, I am not disappointed. Even though I paid like $70 of my own money for it, I'm still not disappointed. The reason I got a new mic was my blue snowball mic suddenly just stopped working. Like, it fell a couple times recently. So I guess because of that, it just simply stopped working. I didn't see it break on the outside, I guess, but on the inside, I guess it did break. Just like I did. Anyways, that was a joke in case you didn't get it. I know some people tend to be a bit oversensitive about that kind of stuff, so just joking. Anyways, so yeah, I had to get a new mic if I want to continue making these videos, and I honestly had no problem with that. I was kind of planning to get an improvement of a mic anyways, better technology. So I wasn't as disappointed as I would have been about my mic breaking. And that's one of the reasons I haven't been uploading. The other is, well, no, the mic breaking was the main reason, because it was such a hassle to get this one. So I was looking around on Amazon for a full day, okay? Just looking for a good mic that works, that meets all my requirements. And I found this, and it was $28, okay? So it gets here, and it doesn't have all the stuff I need, okay? So, like, I get it all set up. I plug it in, but turns out I need another XLR cord and a phantom power source for it to work. And I'm not really in the greatest of moods. So the next day, like, I just kind of wanted to lay low because I didn't just want to stress myself out even more. So the next day, I go on Amazon, look for another day, find a set. Well, no, not a set. I see a variety of different things that I could all just buy in one purchase, but it would have been $108, okay? So I didn't want to buy it because it was way too expensive. Then I realized all I had to do was type in phantom power set. So that's what I did, and I found a set worth $40, I think. So I got that. A couple days later, it gets here, and well, I set it up. I haven't clamped it to my desk yet, so I have someone I live with help me clamp it onto the desk. And, well, here we are now. It's all set up. The whole process took about 2 weeks or so. I'd say it was worth it because I freaking love this mic. It was impossible to get working and stuff, but it was worth it. I got it working. So I'll start making videos with this mic, and I'll try to start getting back on my schedule. I know I'm way behind. And one last thing, I have another top 10 Easter eggs video coming, so I don't know if it'll be when it'll be uploaded, but it will be within the next few weeks if things go the way I think they will, which they probably won't. Our schedule's kind of inconsistent, but I will be making another Easter egg video. I already have the list down. I just gotta write the script, find the right videos, all that, get it edited. I haven't quite started yet, but I do have the list organized. Yeah, hope you enjoyed.